Meghan's podcast has become a real pain for many, many people. We have talked about how Spotify was not very, very happy with some of the episodes she did. In fact, some of the people they have even claimed that Spotify they are now looking into this and perhaps they'll ask for a refund from Meghan. The money they promised to Meghan Markle, I don't think they are going to be paying her the rate they mentioned per second per minute, like thousands of dollars. I don't think that is happening. She created controversy every single episode she did for the Spotify podcast. There was none of them without a controversy. She was called out over and over again. We also have spoken about how Kim can actually replace her, Kim Kardashian. And a lot of people have said, well, Kim was signed up already. She is going to be doing a podcast, but that has nothing to do with Meghan Markle. Even though in the beginning, when I was hearing this news, Kim is coming on Spotify, I was like, yeah, finally we're getting rid of Meghan Markle. But lo and behold, only to find out that no, that is not going to be necessarily the case. Yeah, even though she will steal some of the time from Meghan because Meghan is getting unnecessary attention for all the wrong reason. But now we have some good news. Looks like King Charles, he is having enough. I mean, sitting in the UK, can you imagine this person talking about Meghan's podcast, like how bad it is that it reached to the king even there in the UK. So right now, as you can see on the news, King Charles wanting Meghan Markle's podcast to be gone for good, quote unquote. So King Charles has reportedly put Prince Harry in the quote line of fire to make Meghan Markle's podcast quote go away for good. An insider close to OK magazine issued this insight only recently in a candid interview. The source started off by admitting, quote, King Charles is aware of what Meghan said in a recent interview. She never had to sign anything that restricted her from talking. He knows Meghan is steadfast in her view and belief she and not the family is in control of what she says publicly, end quote. The insider also went on to say, quote, it's the last thing the king needs to be thinking about at this time, but make no mistake, it's a very serious problem, end quote. Reportedly, King Charles is against Meghan Markle discussing anything about family's interaction or events surrounding this very solemn occasion, end quote. What is happening right now is that according to this report, I will show you actually in a second, they are claiming that King Charles had enough of Meghan's podcast. He is furious. He doesn't want Meghan talking about the British monarchy. He doesn't feel that trust in Meghan Markle because remember, once the book is published, we spoke about this. There is a good possibility that Harry and Meghan's title will be taken away. It all depends on the situation, but it is increasingly likely that their titles will be gone. Once the title is gone, what do you think Meghan would do? She is going to be bashing the monarchy every single time she opens her mouth. She will be whining like insane. Oh my God, they took my title away. Can you believe? I mean, this is exactly how she will behave. She is a lunatic and she throws dishes at home in Montecito. And there was some actually report that says she actually did that. Reportedly, King Charles is against Meghan Markle discussing anything about the family and he asked Prince Harry. Now, this is where I found this news to be very, very interesting because he himself spoke to Harry to convince Meghan to end the podcast once and for all. King Charles talking to Harry, maybe he was giving him more condition. If you want to keep your title, not only that you stop talking against us, but also you let me know what you're doing and then I will give you the approval. Right? Meghan doing podcast, most part of it, she did not bash the monarchy. She did not spoke ill against them, except one podcast I remember. But for King Charles, even that is not enough. You talk a little bit in the past, or you may talk in the future the point here is that I don't want Meghan, you to continue with this nonsense. This is what King Charles is telling indirectly to Meghan, and looks like he spoke to Harry. Would Harry listen to him? Of course not. I mean, it all depends again if Harry wants to keep the title. If he thinks that this is going to jeopardize his possibility having the title for himself, for Meghan, and also for the kids, maybe he would then ask Meghan to stop this podcast. Guys, I personally think Meghan created this buzz for no reason. People are not tuning into the podcast the way they're talking about it. Okay, this is what I want you to understand. We talk about her podcast, but we don't listen to her podcast. If you go to the Spotify website, last time I went there, Meghan's podcast was at number 8. I believe 8 or 9, something like that. It was at the very bottom of it. But look at the publicity she is getting. A lot, right? Huge. And compared to that, we are seeing her podcast is ranking at the very bottom. Why? Why this is happening? Why this contrast? It is because people are talking about this, but they are not listening to what Meghan has to say. The King Charles, I'm pretty confident a lot of people have reported this thing to the king and told him that you need to put this clause in a condition for them to have the title that Meghan stop this podcast. That is actually very, very embarrassing. Forget about the British monarchy. She's trashing all the time just for the fact that their own daughter-in-law, because still she's married, right, to the royal family. One of their family members, the daughter-in-law, is actually putting the whole royal family to shame by talking nonsense. Like, what people will think that this lunatic, she got married with this royal family, British royal family, prestigious family in the world. What people will think. So Meghan Markle, she really needs to stop it for many, many reasons. Number one, just save yourself from this embarrassment. Okay, people are mocking you, people are joking, people are calling you out. How many times you want that to happen? And when you will say enough is enough? Number two reason, you are not gonna get the money from Spotify, the one you wished for, you wanted, because you are not gonna give any more lies to people, to your followers. When you do not lie about the British monarchy, nobody cares about you. You know this, that the only way you can make money is by lying about your family. And number three is really you're putting to shame the entire British monarchy by acting like that. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video.
13.
Yes, sir.
You sound 12:30.
We're going to do it.